in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna do the ordinances first then.
Yes.
Introduction of ordinance 2022-11.
Right.
So with the base salaries, we made two amendments. The first amendment was that the salary range for the crossing guards be amended to reflect $17.50 to $20 per hour.
Correct.
And the second is that all the ordinance,
Or the salary.
all the salaries be amended to reflect 4% greater than the current existing base salary now,
That's the top range.
as the top range.
So it's gonna be fixed.
Yes.
Yes.
Right, yes.
So that's what you're voting on introduction.
Right.
Yes.
All right, so can I have a motion to introduce ordinance
make a motion.
2022-11?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Second.
How many times are you gonna say the same thing?
Introduction of ordinance 2022-12. This is for the police and fire.
And same thing applies? Yes, okay. So may I have a motion to introduce ordinance 22-12?
Give me a motion and second.
Well, fire department, no, should be no, Paul, or Mr. Park, or Stephanie, or anyone you guys do, anybody but Mike and Cindy. No, did anybody make a motion?
No, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, so second,
All in favor?
Aye.
This is gonna be fixed.
No, do a roll call.
We'll do a roll call.
No, this is for the fire department, this is the second part of it, this is police and
Police and
fire.
fire.
Roll call.
Jay?
Same thing, we'll do 4%.
Yeah, 4%, right?
Same thing, we'll handle it the same way, okay, that's easy for me.
Yes?
Yes, that's gonna be fixed, yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Min? Park? Farrell? Recuse. Petrie? Okay. Okay. Notice is hereby given that ordinances 2022-11 and 12 were introduced and passed on first reading at a regular meeting of the mayor and council held today, October 24th. In order published in accordance with the law with said amendments, said ordinances will be considered for final reading and adoption at a meeting held on November 28th at 6:30 PM in the council chambers, at which time all persons interested may appear for or against the passage of said ordinances. Copy of the ordinances will be posted on the bulletin board in the borough hall and will be available at the office of the borough clerk. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to consent.
65, 66, and 67.
So you know which ones have been tabled, right?
65,
Yes,
66, and
65, so
67.
it's gonna be 252 through 264 only.
Right.
Can I get a motion?
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that Councilperson Stephanie Chang is not allowed to vote on any town business due to the probable cause of fraudulent voting, which may be third-degree indictable offense until this is settled.
No, he's making a motion.
Wait, so the motion is that she cannot vote right now because you can't vote on. Because she has been what? Because maybe she was found. Was she charged? She,
They found probable cause.
probable cause. It was charged for- Maybe, and it may be a third-degree indictable offense. Charged for a third-degree indictable offense, is that correct?
Well, no, they haven't decided what the charge is gonna be, went to the Bergen County prosecutor.
It's not been decided yet. No.
They found the probable cause, they haven't decided whether it's gonna be handled in Superior Court and treated as a third-degree offense or sent down to municipal court. That decision has not been made.
But then it went to the prosecutor's office.
It went to the prosecutor.
Was there some kind of informal, formal, persecution of, registration for that? And what I'm trying to say is, what was the procedure?
The procedure was that there was a hearing as to whether there was probable cause. The judge found probable cause, he sent it to the, Bergen County Prosecutor's Office. They're now going to review it and decide whether they're going to keep it there or send it down to municipal court.
Okay, so I can see why Councilman Bucci might be saying that, because I recall that there was instances where he was omitted to, exercising his rights as council to vote because there was a conflict. Is that correct? Yes.
All right, well, there's a motion, you need a second, and then you gotta take a roll call.
Don't start.
there's no second and there's no roll call.
Anyone second?
I'll second to see the vote.
Okay, I'm gonna call the roll. Jane? Obviously.
I have to recuse myself, right?
Okay, Kim? Kim?
Yes.
Lynn?
So a question goes to the borough attorney. So until she is proven guilty, she is innocent.
She's innocent, yeah, in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty.
And even when you're found not guilty, sometimes people wanna continue to make believe you are guilty, so it's almost like that.
So my vote is no.
Park?
No.
Okay, Pereira?
No.
Petrie?
Yes.
Why are you guys laughing right now?
All right.
Okay.
Consent agenda, until
Okay.
262, 264.
Motion and second.
Okay, so can I get a motion? We're on consent agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt consent agenda resolutions 22-252 to 264, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
I'll make a motion.
Second? Do we have a second?
Have a second?
I'll second it.
okay, roll call please.
Jane?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes.
Park?
Yes.
Pereira?
There's nothing to do with this, right?
No.
Yes.
Petrie?
Yes.
Okay, and consent passes with the exception of 265, 266, 267.
Table.
Tabled. Okay, on consent agenda, 269 was also tabled at the first section, so let's skip over that.
We voted on 260 already.
We did.
Yes.
Yes, so now you're up to.
Council
The
reports.
ordinance.
Okay.
No.
Council
reports.
reports.
Council reports.
So
Councilman Min.
I'm sorry. These three last meetings were tabled, right?
Table,
Yes.
correct.
No report?
Thank you.
Good.
No report? No report? No report?
The fire department on Friday went to a working house fire at 260 13th Street. It was contained in the basement. Mutual aid was called, and thank God nobody was hurt. No firemen, no, people, no residents of the building were hurt. Also, every month I'm sitting here and I'm watching and listening to all the people here that have a lot of good ideas. Well, maybe out of all the good people that are in here, maybe some of you can get some people to volunteer, join the volunteer fire department. They can definitely use people. And from the energy that I see that's coming from the people that are in the audience every month, I think you would be able to be very good firemen. If you have any questions on what you have to do or whatever, please contact me or any of the fire chiefs. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Kim?
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing.
Captain Espino, do you have anything to report?
Just something brief. Last week I had officers take a ride through town. They were just checking all the light posts in town, the highways, Ford Avenue and the side streets. For any lights that aren't working properly, what we do is we reach out to SCG, and they already started working on getting these lights back up in order. So I think it's pretty good for crime prevention, and also with motor vehicle accidents, we're building on that at nighttime, if we have much better light on Ford Avenue. And I said for the side streets, for protection for the residents when they're walking home late at night, come home from work off the bus. I know in the past there were some issues, some lights were out, so that's something we're working on now to address it. Hopefully we can get that up and going and make it, safe for the residents who walk.
And if I'm not wrong, all the light posts have a number
That's
posted
correct.
onto each one, right? So
So what they did, they always took, he took all the numbers for those poles, and when they contact the SCG, they give them those numbers of the poles. And then what they do, they'll come out, they get right to it right away, because they know where they have to go, with the information provided to them, so.
In our street, I live on First Street, there is only one street. You see all the lights of overall is on. That's the only light. You might, First Street.
Okay, we will take a look at it. Right now, I'm working on the ones that aren't working, but as far as that, I'll have to talk to the,
Most of the people don't put out the light.
Okay, so can I have a motion to open to the public at this time?
Make a motion to open to the public?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, ma'am, ladies. Susan?
Susan Brower. I'm going by 2021, the resolution I have. And it says, last year, our council people were paid over $8,000 each. I'd like to recommend if we're worried about money, why don't you volunteer? And I think the mayor was at 12,000. Why don't you volunteer, give up that money, and it's probably gonna go up, all right, this year. So that's $8,000 we're paying them a year. Some of you earn it, it's only a personal opinion, some of you may not, I don't know. But for elected officials, it would be really nice if you volunteered to do something and save us a little money. Thank you.
Sir,
Yes.
yes, I asked my question, 3 items. I want to get your answers.
You answered.
We already answered those.
Yeah, I asked the mayor, please explain to me. I asked the 3 questions tonight.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Did you pass, the introduction for the 11/22/11?
Yes.
Yeah, so what we did was we passed it with a stipulation that it will not, the maximum range will not increase greater than 4% from last year.
4%? What?
4%, so this is only the salary range, it's not the actual salary.
Because, 4% in this economy
Yeah, but it's only the range, it doesn't mean anybody's getting a raise at all, it's just the range for that salary, right? So rather than having ranges wide open, there were some concerns with some of the council people to bring it back down into a lower range. So
Go on, well, my suggestion is all of you, turn back your salary for 1 year. I don't think any of you will do it. You might.
I said I'll give it back.
But,
Stephanie.
most people think they earn it. A hell of a lot of people don't.
Thank you. Yes.
I have a
Yes, sir.
question.
No, hold on. Yes, sir, you may, yeah.
I have a question, how is the police officer reminded me of it, how is this, thing going that the car goes around at nighttime and checks the license plates?
Can you please say your name?
Ernst Beerley, 329 East Columbia.
So how do they check the,
Is that going good, is it in
you
effect,
wanna know how that's going?
Yeah.
Wait, Dave.
is
Okay,
it-
they'll answer the question after they close the public.
Okay.
Captain Espino, did you hear that question one at a time? Okay,
I'll refresh
Dave.
it, I'll refresh it, yeah.
Mr. Jones? You're not yelling.
My name is Youngmin Jang, 50 East Palisades Boulevard.
Thank you.
As a resident and a taxpayer, I just, my basic assurance is there is no such a government-funded fund. I believe all fund is taxpayer funded. So like, I was very disappointed too. Like when we saw the like 56 page of the fiscal operation of Palisades Park from New Jersey State Controller's Office. And I found out like a recent report, they are like in New Jersey 60 towns, right? 60 towns, 60 municipality examined are violating at least one provision of those laws, like sick day payment. And Kevin Walsh, New Jersey State Controller's Office, he said there are regular payment of the 100,000 or almost 200,000 in our Palisades Park report. We calculated that the unlawful sick leave and vacation for one employee was 160,000, said Kevin Walsh, acting state controller. So I was just so disappointed. And then still tonight, we're talking about a lease agreement, but because of the mold problem, my house has also mold problem during the summertime. The mold problem is not like alien attack, I believe so. But we want to evacuate and go out and just like make a lease agreement. I was just very, very, very disappointed as a taxpayer. So I want to know that the same thing, like not only just very enthusiastic BA's opinion about this matters, a council member, all of you have to just like do your best to take care of our tax money well. Thank you.
Move to the other town.
Oh, you don't have to move. You don't have to move. You rent your place. You don't move. It doesn't matter if you rent.
Guys, one meeting here, please. One meeting, please.
But you have to put him that he rent. Discrimination.
Guys, hold on.
Stop with the discrimination.
Officer.
Stop. What discrimination you have that he rent or own house? Doesn't matter.
All right, guys.
Doesn't matter who rent or own. You are allowed to.
Terrence, please.
There's never a problem, let's go.
Susan.
Let's go outside. Let's go outside. Let's go outside. Let's go outside. They have a problem. I have a problem. I do have a problem. Want me to go outside? Let's go outside. She's the one who asked me to go outside.
Ladies and gentlemen, if we go out of order one more time during tonight's meeting, we're gonna adjourn the meeting without answering any other questions, please. Mr. Lee, go ahead.
Hi, I'm just very concerned as a resident here, so I don't know why this is funny. I'm sourcing this information from Yahoo.com. After nearly a 2-hour hearing on October 20th, Bergen County Superior Court Judge Anthony Galina found probable cause for the charge, which is a third-degree offense. The judge said evidence provided showed that Zhang's signature was on at least 5 million ballots as the assessor. And Azarello, her criminal defense lawyer of Councilwoman Zhang, is discrediting the judgment of a Superior Court judge and saying it is a baseless without providing any factual evidence. And yet, she's still smiling. This shouldn't be about the upcoming election, but rather realizing the fairness and justice, the rule of law. No one is perfect, but I don't know how I can trust someone breaking our laws and laughing to govern a town with more than 20,000 people. And I'm sourcing this from Yahoo.com. That's it.
Anyone else? Mr. Longo.
Peter Longo, 60 Summit Boulevard. I know I've said this before, but it would be easier when you answer my question if I could respond, because I have to wait and I think it makes more sense. But I wanted to respond to Mr. Scatino's statement. There was a letter of complaint concerning this, and I have of course, I have the letter here, and I'll just read you. It was dated, it's from the state of New Jersey, Department of Community Affairs. Sorry.
I'm going a little out of order, but that wasn't pertaining to Michael Beach.
Yes, it was.
What?
The local finance board it's called Local Government Ethics Law. The local finance board acknowledges receipt of the complaint levy filed,
Who filed?
alleging, Neris Papados.
Oh, okay, I didn't get that.
Please be advised that it is the board's practice and intent to conduct thorough investigation of all complaints. And I mean, it's, it goes on, it doesn't really specifically say anything, about it. And they said they will not give you, a status report, they don't do that.
Right.
Okay, so that's just, I just wanted to say that.
No, thank you, but I was unaware of that. Nobody sent me a copy of
No,
that, so I
that's
wasn't
fine.
trying to mislead you, it's just that I wasn't
No.
aware of it.
And we never got a copy.
No, I knew there was, that's why I said it, but that's fine. That's why, if you said it, I would have answered right away and I would have shown you the letter, but you don't have an opportunity.
And then the other thing is, I know you mentioned this involved a volunteer fire position. It's really not. When our firemen are volunteer, but this particular position was $110,000, and I think it involved a lot of money, and that's why a vote should be taken more seriously. I mean, people who should be voting, not everyone. So that, I just wanted to mention that to you, all right? Because I just, I find this is a little annoying when you can't answer or respond to my answer. And it's not to cause trouble, it's just to explain and clarify where I'm coming from. Thank you.
You're next. Thank you.
Regarding the street fair that we didn't have, I wanna refresh the memory from the councilman, Mr. Porkin, that he said it was an accident happened that day. And I have a video, and I don't know if you're gonna give me the opportunity to show you, the accident that it happened, it was in the springtime, when you was doing campaign, you was parking illegal with 4 wheels there. That was the accident that happened at that time. And at that time, you didn't care about if we have insurance, if Mr. Jane have insurance and all that. Because you know why you dropped the street fair, and you know why. And this is why the reasons, all these things going on here, because we are tired of playing game and lying. And you know why, I have a video. And regardless, one of the person who's standing here and discredit the councilwoman, Stephanie Jan, I read the article from her lawyer, and her lawyers is clarified that case was dismissed in 2020. And I remember there's Mr. David Lorenzo say all the charges dismissed, because at that time she went as a councilwoman, and now they bring that out again. Like, this is ridiculous how we use this thing, and I'm standing here to say that because discrediting that. And I really give applause for the council that didn't vote yes for blocking her for votes, because that's ridiculous. How we bring a case, if you get dismissed from a case and they bring it back when it's convenient. And all this thing is orchestrated by the board of administrator. That's ridiculous.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my name is Young Pa, 469 Hillside Avenue. I'm not here to complain anything. Just first of all, I want to applause to Mayor Chang for his service, because I think today is the last year meeting, right?
No.
Don't mind. Come in by December.
What I would say is, because of his service, Kim and Chong is gonna be next candidate for our community. So we cannot forget his service, whether he was good or not. I think he loves Palisade Park. And only downside, he's so soft, like myself. So maybe that's why I didn't want to popular, but honestly, I like him. And the other thing I come here is, actually, Kim is my brother-in-law. So I know he's very energetic and love Palisade Park. Also, another candidate, Chang, I don't know much about her, but based on what she's saying, she's very articulate and very nice lady too. So it's gonna be a good candidate. I'm sure they both love Palisade Park, and hopefully one of you guys has a good work, and then it depends on the people's or our town of Palisade Park choose. I have no doubt about it.
Thank you.
One more last thing is, I don't know what politics or what town work. Whenever I come here, because of a few times, the agenda didn't much clearly understandable. So it'd be great if you guys summarize before you decide or whatever do, explain the situation so that a lot of audience can understand. Also, I know Palisade has a website, right? Over there, is there any Q&A session, kind of a section? Can people ask something and you guys can answer like that. Because to my knowledge, I've been here a few times, always same face and same argument. So, looks like it's all managed by these people and these people. We need more audience coming to Riverside Park. I think the best way today is the IT world. So why don't you create question answer? Everybody busy, they cannot join this meeting. They can ask, and then some people answer. That way it's more flexible, more communicable, and a lot of Koreatown is more than half of them Korean. So maybe all the people don't understand. So if people, I'm sure some Koreans support that translation also. So I just suggestion. I know it's involve a budget, then maybe you can reject. That's all my suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
So-
Yes. You already had your turn, sir.
Yvonne Wanya, 268 Highland Avenue. In fact, I'm very happy to hear that something that I was thinking about was proposed previously, like this lady says volunteer, like mayor and council to be completely volunteer. I really like it. I mean, I think you have to show your courage and help the residents. In fact, Leonia, mayor and councilors, councilmen, all volunteer, completely volunteer. So I think you should show your leadership, and so that you help. You show your help to residents. Another thing is the man, the gentleman, just talks about the agenda. We really, as one of our attendees, we really don't know what's the detail of all these agenda items, right? So if, in fact, if somebody summarizes, I think that's a great idea. Or I've been actually proposed before that let's have a separate public executive meetings so that we can understand agenda more, maybe a week before the regular meeting, which totally does it. And so I think that's really important. Something I like to mention is some time ago we proposed, and somebody, some other people also proposed several things to help to reduce the traffic accidents on the especially East Central Boulevard and Green Copper Avenue, and also East Homestead Avenue. And one of you actually mentioned that this belongs to county. So you have to, I think there was a the follow-up item that one of you actually talked to the county so that how to improve. And I haven't heard anything about that, report. I hope that, somebody did follow up, and if not, then please follow up, because we just saw a couple of days ago that several accidents again, and this is extremely dangerous. Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's hear your other hands. May I have a motion to close the public session?
I make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think there's just two quick things. First, there was one question from before that I didn't answer, which was the question about the mayors, and the next mayor should make the decision. The mayors don't make the decisions, the council people make the decisions. In fact, the mayor, of course, can have an opinion, but he doesn't vote. The council people have more authority than the mayor does. So although Councilman Kim and Councilman Chang, whoever becomes mayor will have input into the decision, they will not be voting on it unless there's a tie. So it's not up to the mayor, it's up to the council people that are up here as to what decision's going to be made with respect to the municipal building.
I have a question with that before you continue. That's a good subject matter. Who is responsible for the executive day-to-day activities for the borough?
Well, the day-to-day operations are typically the borough
So
administrator.
Judiciary, where's judiciary?
Judiciary.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Daily operations, executive.
Who's the highest position here for the executive position?
The mayor is considered the
The mayor
executive.
handles the management, the general management is responsible.
No.
So what is it, what is the executive branch here? What is his?
Well, he speaks on behalf of the governing body, so, if there's, something that has to be spoken to in terms of, attending functions or, newspapers or so forth, he speaks as the chief executive officer, he speaks for the governing body, and then if there is an emergency situation, the mayor has the authority to act under an emergency without the council, and he has the right to set the agenda as the executive, and he has the right to, call special meetings, as, you know, and and in a borough form of government, that, there may be something else, but that's pretty much the extent. The borough form of government in New Jersey is what they call a weak mayor form of government, because he can't vote, and he doesn't have unilateral authority other than the circumstances that I just mentioned. There may be something else, I just don't know what.
Well, doesn't the mayor have the right to see the agenda coming forward?
Yes, the mayor has the right to set the agenda, yes.
He signs it, the clerk signs it, and it comes to the council tables, and we vote on it, correct?
Correct.
So if there was some kind of agenda or resolution that didn't really fit the services provided for the Good People Fallsview Park, he could just say, I don't wanna present this, correct?
You mean he can say he doesn't want it to go on
I
the
don't wanna
agenda?
sign it, I don't wanna present this,
No,
correct?
if a resolution is passed by the governing body, the mayor should sign it, whether he agrees with it or not,
Who
because
is the
that's
governing body?
the council. So if the council votes on
Before it gets to that.
Oh, before it gets on the agenda, the mayor has the right to say, I don't want it on the agenda. I think that you have, in my opinion, you may not have this in writing, but if two council people request something to go on the agenda, it should go on, and the reason for that is because they can just make the motion at the meeting and get a second. So even though, the agenda is set by the mayor, my opinion, it has always been that if the borough clerk gets a call from two council people and says, I'd like this motion put on the agenda, that it really should go on. But to your point, if the mayor says, I don't want it on, he can prevent it from going on. Okay, and Captain Espino, there was a question about the status of a program.
The question was asked, with regard to, traffic accidents, and what we're doing about them with regard to specific streets, East Central Boulevard, Homestead, and whether there was any information provided to the county, and any response from the county.
Right now, what we can do, we just patrol the streets as best as we can. I mean, you have to understand that's, it's a main artery coming to town. It is a county road, so we get a lot of county road, bigger vehicles coming through that area. I mean, to say that we can just sit up there and just stop motor accidents, really, I wish I could say yes, but you really can't.
I don't know, Captain, I don't know if that was, but the other part of the question, I think, and I could be wrong, was, has any reports been submitted to the county about the number of accidents there, perhaps that the county may do something?
Not aware of that.
Okay.
Everything else was a statement, just, you know.
That's it.
And the gentleman over here asked about the, status of the traffic, officers driving around at night times.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. That was the original question. Captain, I'm sorry. The original question was from this gentleman over here, and he was talking, excuse me, talking about the license plate readers that are active now with the new program of the parking. How are they working?
That's with the traffic division, so that's not what we ran or run, but I was speaking with one of the, superintendents in charge of that.
I apologize for that.
The feedback I got on that from last month was very productive. Close to, I believe, 900 summonses were issued.
Wow.
So it's a good tool, it's working.
Good.
Does the resident feel that there's extra spaces in the residential parking streets?
You can't imagine what these things are doing.
That hasn't been brought to my attention, so I couldn't really answer.
This is why we wanna get the parking program.
Because that's what we're trying to do.
We wanna get like 6 more.
Right?
Well, the problem with that, Councilman, when you're building a duplex, you're taking up a lot of the street and you're losing those parking spots.
That's not exactly true, we all have our own opinion, it's because. No.
Alright, I think that's it, thank you.
Thank you, Captain.
This is a very.
Can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Sorry about
Did
that.
that already?
No, we're closed.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you. All in favor? Thank you.
Sorry.